Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Dario here with another Options and Play video update. Um, one of the things you hear people talk about a lot is this idea of like not swimming against the tide or not battling the tape, right? So when the tape is weak, you want to focus more on the downside, and when the tape is strong, you want to focus more on like bullish patterns, right? Like upside patterns, and um, that generally probably makes sense, right? I mean, you want to go with the direction of the overall market because that seems to be like the path of least resistance, right? So when we're in like a bull trend, you want to focus on bullish patterns. We're in a bear trend, bearish patterns. But there's also opportunity to go in the opposite of those, because I mean, not only is it easier to spot relative strength in a weak tape, but it can also lead to like some nice moves if you're patient. Okay, so I think one of the things that myself and a lot of people were noticing this week is that even though the overall market, like the indices, like Qs and the spiders, have rolled lower quickly since the CPI, there's actually a lot of under the radar like bullish developments or bullish patterns shaping up. One of the areas has been the clean energy or the green energy names, so like solar stocks, like TAN, or like EVs, so like Tesla, right? So these names are actually acting well in an otherwise weak tape, right? So the indices are breaking below the lows from last week. Some of these stocks are actually threatening to break out through like the high from last week. Um, the thing with these types of setups is that it's more about patience, okay? Because like today is a great example where you might get some early continuation, but like the general lack of consistency on the upside makes these types of patterns more slow to develop. Meaning, like, if it was like a bull tape, you'd look for a breakout on Tesla to deliver an immediate move higher, right? You could maybe go after it was some short-term options, catch like a quick move over like a 2 to 3 day period, right? But because we're in a weaker tape and you're targeting a bullish breakout, it's more of like a couple week type time frame trade, right? So this is something like I think it's like important to be mindful with when you're playing options, is that if you're trying to swim against the tide and catch like a bullish move in an otherwise like bearish trend, that you need to be really mindful of the time frames. Because yeah, maybe in a different environment Tesla breaks out and runs immediately, but right now it could be more of like a halting move where legs up and then pauses, legs up then pauses, right? So these are the types of things like I feel like it's important to kind of focus on right now, because I know a lot of people, like myself included, were noticing a relative strength in a bunch of different areas, but until we get stability or some sort of like bounce in the overall tape, these types of patterns are still going to be a little bit tougher, and they're really going to require some patience. And for options, that means giving them a little bit more time, right? So instead of like maybe focusing like strictly on the weeklies, maybe like look a couple weeks out, or even like the monthly contracts. That hopefully will give you enough time for the trade to develop if it's going to work. Okay. So we'll see how this all shapes up. Things can change really quickly, especially with the FOMC next week. So um, just because we're down the last few days doesn't mean that we couldn't be up a few days from now, especially with the FOMC likely to deliver a big jolt of volatility. All right. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information about trading events or swing trading with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options and play. Have a great night. Stay well, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.